Hello, fellow INFJs, friends and followers. I felt a need to do an INFJ clip and actually talk about one of the functions that I'm learning about currently, which is the extroverted sensing. And it's interesting also that the realization I'm having about my extroverted sensing is coming in rather late in the process of learning about being an INFJ, because I think the extroverted sensing might be my greatest blind spot. So tell me if you relate. And I think that's because INFJs are also so intellectual and intellectually fast, or the introverted intuition is so strong that we believe we know the truth, we are objective, we understand and read everything and everyone. So we could not be subject to extroverted sensing taking over and taking control over our intellect and our the all-seeing eye that we have. Again, tell me if you relate. But think learning about this, or understanding how the extroverted sensing is a strong part of my functions, I guess I feel a bit relieved because I understand how I behave and react actually. And again, I think it's a blind spot for me. So it's nice to recognize this function and that it's there and that it's strong. And I would like to give just a few examples of when this can happen for me. One good example is, of course, in intellectual discussions, because I am very intellectual. I'm interested in politics and, philosophy, history, value questions, definitions and concepts. So I enjoy taking part of debates to a certain point, because I do get frustrated from my extroverted sensing, which I haven't realized until recently how much this is frustrating to me, because it's been very puzzling when I know that I'm very well educated on many of the subjects I like to discuss. One example could be feminism. I understand feminism from all angles. I read and I read a lot about it and integrated the feminist understanding into everything else I'm studying. I'm modernizing it all the time, so intersectional feminism and all the levels. And I know this, and still if I have a discussion with someone who knows nothing about feminism, who did not read a book or an article or anything, I know that I walk into this discussion with so much more knowledge than the other person, and still I fall instantly. I fall for the trigger of the other person not respecting my knowledge, for example, having an opposing view that's provoking or condescending and discriminatory against me as a woman, a discussion with a man, for example, about feminism, where he would be mansplaining me about feminism and telling me why I'm wrong or whatever. And in a second, my extroverted sensing takes over this, and I the feelings. So I feel very frustrated when this happens, and kind of disappointed with myself, I guess, that I can't keep my cool and just know that I know more than the other person. It happens. It just happens every time, and I'm 42 years old now, so I should be prepared. I shouldn't be surprised that this happens when it happens, but I'm still surprised every time and frustrated every time. So at the end, I'm gonna come to some conclusions and solutions that I'm gonna try to use in the future. The second example is in relationships. Oh my God. And please tell me if you relate, but the extroverted sensing, again, together with the introverted intuition, I think, makes me think that I know things, I see things before they happen. I pick up on signals of things that might be happening. Like I can trigger very easily on jealousy, like for me to become jealous, because I pick up on small things that might indicate that something has changed, or that someone is thinking about something that is not good, or that is a problem, or that someone might not be like 100% honest with me all the time. And the introverted intuition here, I guess what is functioning, like picking up on everything and like reading people full on, is like the step one. And then step two, the extroverted sensing, the way that I'm interpreting this, is for me to actually think that all of this is true, and I kind of just react on this immediately, instantly, and fall into like strong reactions, strong emotions, strong feelings around this little thing that I'm picking up on in the interaction with the other person. I don't know if I'm making any sense. Please tell me if you relate. But like the first part is kind of psychic, but acting on the second part is kind of psycho. The difference between me being a psychic or a psycho is if I just pick up on stuff that might be happening, or if I believe all of this to be like the truth and I need to act on this now and like confront the person, or just read into decisions and start deciding that I'm gonna slam the door now because I know that this person's lying. So that's also, I don't know, but I think I definitely think that's like a weak spot for me that I want and need to work on. Yeah, oh my God. Okay, so solutions to this. Who knows? In both these areas, like intellectual discussions and in intimate relationships with like trust issues and picking up on everything, what I'm trying to do right now, I guess, is just to go slower with everything, which is also one ability I have as an INFJ. Tell me, please, friends, if you can also be very slow sometimes when you have like overload on stuff, or if you slam the door, or if you cave in. I don't like to do any of those things, because I think they are related to kind of isolation that is not really healthy, but I try to use this now to at least slow down sometimes in my reactions. And I'm also following some therapists and coaches who talk about, pause. Whenever you have a strong reaction to things, slow down, pause, because your body is like reacting. So my extroverted sensing, for example, is like full on, want to respond, want to blah, blah, blah. But if I breathe and maybe disconnect, slow down, just like look at something else in the room, or think about something else in the room, and try to break the strong reaction of the extroverted sensing, then maybe I have a chance to come in with a more neutral attitude and actually say something constructive or do something constructive. And if the reaction is really strong, maybe I need to wait like a day or two, if it's in a relationship, before I decide like what's reasonable. Should I be confronting this person, or also asking for, so learning about my triggers, and then using the slowing down, the pausing, and asking other people for feedback. Mixed people who might be like in different personalities, also to give me, like this person would act like that, that person is reading this into the situation. And even there I can start triggering again from my extroverted sensing. But since I sometimes as an INFJ can think that I know it all, I think it's good for me just to hear other people's opinions and feedback, even if I'm not going to use it. And then also during that time, I actually get some time to just slow down when my extroverted sensing is starting to want to control my decisions, because it's in my decisions also that I think that the extroverted sensing can be a problem. So that's where I can feel like a victim for my own extroverted sensing. So then you need to go and ask like a boring stockbroker who sees like a 50-year span of a development. Like, how would you act today? Oh, think 20 years. Yeah, anyways. Please tell me if you relate to anything, and if there's anything you want to talk about or bring up for another clip maybe. Take care, people.